What's up guys, I'm Josh, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be putting together my very first mechanical keyboard. It's been a minute since I've made a video. Been doing well, working pretty much, and then being lazy, taking naps and watching YouTube and all of that stuff. I really wanted to build a custom keyboard or just get into it a little bit more, the world of mechanical keyboards. So I decided that this would be a great video to kind of come back on. That being said, thank you to everyone who's still been watching the videos. I keep seeing comments and everything like that still pouring in from those older videos, and I'm super appreciative of that. But if you are new here, consider subscribing for more videos like this one, as well as PC content, as well as some software development stuff. And as always, if you could hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, it really helps a small channel like mine grow. So starting out for the parts, I didn't really know what to choose for this first mechanical keyboard. I was kind of in the budget for under $150, and I wanted it to be hot swappable just so that I could use this keyboard as a base and then try out multiple switches later on in the future. So after digging through countless YouTube videos and seeing beginner builds and things like that, I decided to go for the GamaKay LK67. Previously, I have been rocking the Keycaps K1 for the past year and a half, maybe even 2 years, the low profile version with brown switches. But for this one, I wanted to stick away from Keycaps and then try a different brand out as well. Altogether, I bought it on Amazon because I was a little bit impatient. I could have bought it on Banggood or stuff like that for a bit cheaper. But everything came out to around $130 to $140, right around there with shipping and everything. And you will see that I'm not doing any mods in this particular video, as in like a tape mod or band-aid or lube in that sense. But I plan on doing a future video just because I don't have any of those materials with me right now. That'll be another adventure for another day. So my switch of choice for this build was the Gateron Milky Yellow, and I kind of chose this one because it seemed like the perfect beginner kind of switch. I was used to the brown switches and I want to change it up just a little bit, and I knew with just a little bit of work later on in the future they're going to sound great. So I mean, these are a linear switch with 4 millimeters of travel, 50 gram actuation, and they come in either a 5-pin or a 3-pin, which is what I got. Since I'm doing the voiceover after I've already built the keyboard, I can say that I do really like these switches, just because I'm used to this low profile / laptop type of feel for the keyboard, and kind of transitioning from that to these for a linear switch was a really easy process. You don't have to press down super hard for it to actually register. Part of this build is of course the LK67. Now again, a couple reasons that I went for this one in particular is that it's hot swappable. I wanted to have the ability to kind of try out a bunch of different switches in this keyboard. This one is Bluetooth enabled and it has a USB-C port, so I do have a couple of machines. You can see my PC in the back. I have my work laptop and then my MacBook as well. So I wanted something that I could switch between seamlessly, between having 3 different Bluetooth profiles at least, and this one was able to do that. It's got Bluetooth 2.4 and 5.0 as well. Of course, I did want something backlit a little bit, so I went for the RGB version, and this one is RGB. And the main selling feature of this keyboard, as well as the volume knob, I'm pretty sure there are things you can do to kind of modify that, but I don't think this keyboard in particular has software where you can make it so that you're doing color grading or something like that. But it is a volume knob and it does come in handy. And not to mention the pricing and the keyboard size as well. The Keycaps K1 in comparison is a 10 keyless, or I think a 75% keyboard, and then this one is a 65%. So it's missing the function keys, as well as some of the home and page up, page down, that type of stuff keys. And I did want a little bit of a smaller piece as well. Not so great for the development side because I do really like those function keys, especially like F12 and refresh and all of that stuff. I've kind of gotten used to it. I don't use it all that much for development stuff. For editing, and I've been playing Minecraft a little bit more with it as well. I've really enjoyed using it. Based on the reviews and the videos that I've seen, people have said that these have really good stabilizers for ones that are plate mounted. And these ones are, so you can't really change them out for different ones, but the ones that they include on here do sound pretty good and they feel pretty solid as well. And though the case is plastic, this keyboard has a really nice weight to it. There is no way to make it go higher and lower in terms of adjusting the size technically, but the rubber stoppers on a desk, and along with the weight of this keyboard, which I found super surprising, especially for a plastic keyboard. One more thing is that these are north-facing LEDs, but even with north-facing LEDs, with the keycaps that I have on there, and you'll probably be seeing some B-roll as well on this, they do function really well. You're still able to see a lot of light coming out of it, though it might not be super bright in that instance. Having those little side panels where the RGB can peek out from the back and the sides of the keyboard definitely help a lot with that. And the final key for this build are the keycaps. I decided to go with the XDK custom keycaps from Amazon. Picked these up for $33 and they come in a set of 120 keys. And the color or style for these keycaps are the Enlightenment Japanese keycap set. Kind of an odd name, but I'll have links down in the description for everything that I've shown here. And the reason why I went with these keycaps is definitely for the look. I wanted something subtle as well as something that would match kind of the lighter theme because I got a white keyboard and I wanted a lighter kind of gray look to this as well. These are a set of PBT keycaps as well. I've been reading that they are much better than ABS ones that come at a cheaper price. And the ink on here is also dye supplementation, so it means that it won't really rub off and will stay kind of crisp throughout the lifetime of this keyboard. The profile for these keycaps are an XDA profile. I think the Keycaps also has the XDA profile one, so I kind of decided to go with that as well. And if you're thinking about getting these keycaps set as well, I do recommend them, and they do fit on the Gateron style switches as you can see here. So Cherry MX, Kale, Halo, I'm pretty sure the linear ones as well with like the Razor Huntsman and things like that, so they're your kind of overall generic fits most. Now, one thing in my video that I wanted to show you guys are a couple mistakes that I made while building this keyboard. So this is like my very first time ever even doing something like hot swap or whatever, so I wasn't exactly sure what to do. I watched, you know, Glars's and Hippio Tech and all of those videos, but until you actually do it, you don't really know what you're doing. Kind of the same way that I felt while I was building this. I do have a video on my channel for the first PC build that I've done, and you know, putting the CPU and putting down the little lever or whatnot, you just don't know how much pressure you need. So that's kind of how I felt with putting these hot swap switches in as well. I just didn't know how much pressure they needed, and during that process I had a couple bent switches along the way. So the saying, if you have to force it and it doesn't fit, it probably isn't meant to go there. And again, I didn't know how much force I had to use for a lot of these ones, so kind of towards the beginning I was putting in these keycaps. I was making sure to how to line them up, or you know, I was flipping them upside down just in case, or trying to put them into different sockets. But in some cases they really were either just bent a little bit, which caused it to bend inward like this. Again, I was just using too much force. So that's just something to note if you are building something like this. Just make sure your pins are straight. And also, the second mistake happened when I was putting on the keycaps. It's always a good rule of thumb to maybe not do it from brain memory, because as you can see from this clip, I wanted to do the WASD keys first, just to like get a quick sound test and also test the keys while I was going at it. And as you can tell, something is definitely out of place here. I eventually caught it, we fixed it later on. But in the meantime, until I was doing that, I honestly had no idea. So definitely keep some type of example or the keyboard and the actual thing that it comes in. And I think another big tip is also to test early and test often as well. You know, while you're developing software, we have like TDD, which is test-driven development. So you know, you're writing the test cases before you even write the actual code. That's kind of how I felt that I should have been doing this to begin with. And even while building a PC, you want to do a little test boot before you start buttoning everything in. So before I put the keycaps in, I just wanted to test out that all the switches were working, and that's why I found out that I did have some bent switches. So it was really handy that I had done that initially, and just made sure that number one that the board actually worked, and that the keys were all working too, because I think a total of about 4 or 5 of them I had to swap out. So that definitely saved some time in the long run.